The reason why you wait until toward the end of June, call it late teens, early 20s, to call up your best player is that you get an extra year before the player is arbitration eligible. The CBA, the new collective bargaining agreement, wanted to get teams not to manipulate service time. So they came up with something called the Prospect Promotion Initiative. Put your best players on the team early. That's what fans want. That's what the players union wanted. And so baseball came up with this brilliant idea. If you have a player on your opening day roster and that player finishes first or second in Rookie of the Year, you get an extra draft pick. That's the Prospect Promotion Initiative. And we know how much we love draft picks because in baseball, we're so good at drafting that anytime you get a pick, you are potentially getting a superstar. Do you think that teams in the real world are looking at their roster and saying, I'm going to put this guy on the opening day roster because I want the draft pick? No. You put a player on the opening day roster, whether it's Bobby Witt or Dontrell Willis, because that's what you think is best for your team for the entire season. But once you make the decision about opening day, there are then future dates that you think about. One of them is the middle of April, and the rule on that is very simple. When you call a player up in the middle of April, the math tells you that you are keeping control of that player for a full extra year. And then you look at the middle of June. The rule of that has to do with the Super 2 rule, which I just explained to you. The second thing that is in this current CBA is something called a bonus pool. A bonus pool is a pot of money that is paid to prospects who are on big league teams who have not yet achieved arbitration. If you achieve certain things, whether it's WAR or whether it's votes for Cy Young, MVP, Rookie of the Year, you are eligible to receive money above your minimum salary that the team pays you. But guess what? When a player gets money from the bonus pool, that doesn't come from the team. You get paid that from the league, which means you're only paying 1/30th of the money that is going to your player. And two, that money does not count for your luxury tax calculation. It is not part of your competitive tax payroll. So I am great and fine with players getting money in the bonus pool because players can get more money. Let them make as much as they can. But the difference between a team paying a player and the league paying a player is significant. And when you are making decisions on when you call up your players, you have to think about these things. The fact that we're talking about the Red Sox and the Royals in the same conversation should be exciting to baseball because it's not a difference in the actions of a large payroll versus a small payroll team. The concern is that if more teams are acting with complete reckless disregard towards Super 2, it's going to become an issue that baseball is going to want to deal with through the next collective bargaining agreement. Because what Super 2 was supposed to do, it was supposed to reward players who were in the top 22% of service time of their class. But it was supposed to guide teams into paying attention to service time. And the more teams who do not pay attention, the more it will become an issue in bargaining. I am not yucking on Roman Anthony. I am simply explaining in as clear a way as possible that all decisions that you make today impact your ability to operate tomorrow. Boston Red Sox are an example of a team. They don't like going over the competitive tax threshold. They don't like paying luxury tax. Some years they do, some years they don't. We're going to talk about a team in another league and how they're dealing with luxury tax and aprons. And we talk about all of that in basketball. We talk about the salary cap in football. Baseball, there is no salary cap. Baseball, there are only teams who are supposed to be paying attention. And what's resulted is this disparity that exists That's got to be dealt with and will be dealt with. And it doesn't help when you've got two teams at two different ends of the scale who are actually acting the same. The other thing of note on Roman Anthony and him being called up and all of the pressure the Red Sox felt that he hit the 580-foot home run and he is the greatest player, top prospect. The Red Sox have underperformed. Granted, I jinxed them by choosing them to win the pennant. There are people who were talking yesterday that Roman Anthony was called up and put right in the lineup in right field. And remember, Roman Anthony he can play all the outfield positions, but he likely will be a left fielder going forward. The Red Sox played him in right field only a couple of games in AAA and then shoved him out there. I've mentioned this before. I want to make sure that we're clear about it. When we want a player to be on our team, 99% of the time, forget it, Coca, 100% of the time, when it's a position player, we are calling up a player because of his offense. We have not called up a player and said, hey, we know he's going to hit 205, but man, we could use some better defense up the middle. We may have a player on our team and we may not require huge offense from a position because we love his defense. We love his speed, whatever the case may be. But when we're looking at help with a struggling season, when we're not scoring enough runs or we're not winning enough games, we're calling up a player because of what he will do at the dish. We then will fit that player into a position, whether he is a career shortstop, whether we project him as a left fielder, center fielder, right fielder, second baseman. The only position that we will not put a player in the big leagues without substantial minor league time, even if it's a straight catcher or a converted catcher like JT Realmuto, who we drafted as a shortstop and then converted him early in his career, like immediately to a catcher, and then let him catch throughout the minor leagues. When you call up a catcher catches. When you call up a left fielder, he may play right field. When you call up a shortstop, he may play second base. We are not focused on the position. We're focused on the power. We're focused on the average. We're focused on the holes in our lineup and what holes a player can slide into. I am not a big fan of calling up your best prospect and then hitting him 8th and not playing him every day, or hitting him 7th and not playing him every day. If I'm calling up my best prospect and actually screwing up the entire Super 2 calculation, you better be a middle of the order producing player like Miguel Cabrera, who we still manipulated his service time because obviously, why wouldn't you?